everybody. Good afternoon to chief guest and good evening to all other participants and delegates. Sri Kumaraswamy College Ausa, District Latur, State Maharashtra, India, heartily greets all honorable dignitaries and participants here at the virtual platform for the International E-Conference. The topic of today's International E-Conference is Adapting Minds, the Psycho-Emotional Impact of Change in Dynamic Environments. The college, Sri Kumaraswamy College Ausa, is affiliated to Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded. The college conducts many innovative activities for students and stakeholders. The activity of webinar series and international conferences, it is one of the activities for the benefit of students, researchers, teachers, intellectuals, academicians, and knowledge seekers. And all these activities go simultaneously, and behind it is the inspiration of Honorable Principal Dr. M. Ignatescu, sir, who is Chief Organizer and also Chairman of webinar series and international conferences. At the outset of this International E-Conference, I welcome you, sir, as the Chairman of this International E-Conference. Today, I feel immense pleasure to have among us the Chief Guest, Honorable Irina Ignatescu, ma'am, from Romania, who is Managing Consultant and Psychotherapist. On behalf of the organizing committee of Sri Kumaraswamy College Ausa and International E-Conference, I welcome you, ma'am, as the chief guest and keynote speaker. And before the actual commencement of the keynote address, I would like to invite Honorable Principal Dr. M. Ignatescu, sir, for your introductory speech. Please, sir.
Thank you, Professor Karan, sir.
Welcome.
I would like to welcome today's resource person, Irina ma'am, who is from Romania. I requested to her through Alexandra ma'am. She have recommended you because I requested her to introduce few resource person, those who can join here as a resource person. So I am thankful to her also. And you are having experience of this field, psychotherapist, managing consultant, HR strategy. So this educational conference will definitely see the positive effects of such fields, and you are going to present today your speech related to that also. So I welcome from my institute, from organizing team, and from all participants to you, and we all are waiting for your speech on adopting minds, the psycho-emotional impact of change in dynamic environment. Thank you, ma'am. I will hand over now towards Prakash Karad, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your opening words. And now we all are very eager to be enlightened by the keynote speaker and chief guest, Honorable Irina Ignatescu, ma'am, from Romania. She is managing consultant and also psychotherapist, and she is going to deliver her address on the topic Adapting Minds, the Psycho-Emotional Impact of Change in Dynamic Environments. On behalf of the organizing committee of the International E-Conference, I request you, ma'am, to start your presentation and keynote speech. Please, ma'am, welcome.
Hello, and thank you so much for the invitation to be here with you today. It's a joy and it's an honor for me, and I extended my gratitude to Dr. Betkar for this opportunity. Let's introduce myself a bit. Thank you for the introduction as well. My educational background is in psychology, but I've spent nearly 20 years working in HR in different corporations and in large companies, also different industries. During my years in organizational practice, I found myself drawn back to psychology. So I continued with my training in psychotherapy and concurrently began practicing in my own therapy office. This brought me much fulfillment and completed my work significantly. So recently I made the decision to transition into HR consulting, aiming to use my acquired skills more effectively while also increasing my time spent with clients in mental health area. In preparing for today, I've focused on a topic that affects us in these times, in this period. I won't speak directly about change, as the title of my presentation might suggest, because the change is affecting us, in fact, but rather about our reactions to the continuous pressure of change in our daily lives. I'll discuss its impact on our lives, our well-being, and our psycho-emotional balance. And at the end of my speech, I will give you some conclusions of a research made by McKinsey Company. To dive deeper into the subject I want to address, I invite you all to take a moment to recall a recent context in which you encountered change. It could be a common event from your daily life, receiving certain information that had an impact on you, a work demand, anything. So, design a context, recall a context where you encountered change, and once you've identified, try to associate it with the emotion is stirred within you. Try to remember what did you feel in your body, where, how, identify the emotion, and name it. You can either type it in the chat box here, in our chat box, or you can say it loud. Just name it and identify it. If you're unsure of the name, give it a name yourself. For a better connection with yourself, you may close your eyes for a few moments if you feel comfortable doing so. If not, that's okay too. Let's collect some emotions from you when you are ready. And when you are ready to share, just let me know or write in the chat box. So, name emotions.
Participants are requested to listen the speech and try to respond her questions or what our resource person is trying to collect information from you. Please.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Just tell me the emotion that you identified. Who is the courageous one in this group?
Is there anybody
Anyone?
else? Any delegate, any participant who wants to express his opinion on the emotion, please?
One emotion that we identified.
One
Not easy, huh?
emotion.
One emotion. Such a big challenge since the beginning.
Write down any emotion if you want to communicate freely. Write down. She will continue after that with that word. Okay.
Yeah. So
There are,
you can think about it. You can write it on
there
the
are
chat
different
box if you want
emotions
to.
like
Yes.
anger, fear,
Exactly.
love, affection, and these.
So you faced these emotions, sir. I can hear words like fear. That is indeed a common emotion that can arise when faced with change. This emotion often stems from uncertainty about what the change involves and how it will impact us. They can manifest physically as a quickening of the heartbeat, shallow breathing, or tension in the body. Recognizing the emotion is an important step in understanding our reactions to change and managing them effectively. You can see it's not easy to identify this. So I was expecting actually a bit to this resistance. But if you'd like to explore further or to discuss any other emotions, please feel free to do so with friends, family, your therapist. after this workshop. Now we can continue. As a common element that we can identify in what we've just said here, we can say that the tension in the body is the most commonly felt when we encourage change. It's what our brain instantly signals as a reaction, revolting against what is must do. This creates new neural connection, which naturally require a cost, an additional effort. Our brain is naturally lazy. If left without effort, it will always choose the simplest path, the one without costs. It will follow the known, beaten path, will go for automatism, the already formed neural connection. Any new information, any change requires effort. And the brain's first reaction is to try to pull us back, to resist. That's the resistance to change. The tension associated with resistance to change brings along a series of other emotional reactions. Fear, as you said, stress, anxiety. And the greater the change, the more outside of our area of control, the higher our anxiety. What our brain and body do in this case of a reaction? In such cases, our brain and body often react by triggering the fight or flight response. This response is a natural physiological reaction that prepares the body to either confront or flee from a perceived threat or stressor. When faced with significant change and the associated emotions such as fear and anxiety, the brain activates the sympathetic nervous system, leading to increased heart rate, high alertness, and the release of stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These physiological changes are designed to help us respond to the perceived threat, whether it's by confronting the change hand-on or by escaping for it. Now, another challenge for you. Think on the previous example when you identified your emotion and see what was your natural response for it. It was confrontation or it was escape. More than this, is this a pattern for you in your daily life reaction or it was one-off situation? Think of it and see what you can do with this information you just find out about yourself. Now let's continue. Our resistance to change, particularly our brain, to avoid the stress and negative tension felt, generates what are called defense mechanisms. When we face change and the emotion associated with it, our brain can activate various defense mechanisms to protect us from the stress and negative tension experienced. These mechanisms may include denial, projection, repression, or sublimation. For sure, each of it is very familiar and known by you, even you don't know you know them. Denial involves refusing to acknowledge or accept the reality of change, while projection involves attributing emotions or characteristics of ourselves to other people or situations. Repression involves pushing unpleasant emotions into the subconscious, and this, in many cases, the emotions are blocked or very difficult to identify them or express them. And sublimation involves transforming these emotions into constructive or creative behaviors. These defense mechanisms can be effective in the short term for managing immediate stress, but they can have negative consequences in the long term on our emotional and relational well-being. It is important to be aware of these mechanisms and actively work to develop healthy strategies for adapting to change and managing emotions. Our brain is built, as mentioned earlier, to stick to familiar paths. Moreover, it reacts to negativity. And I will give you an example to understand better. I will detail an image for you, and the strict requirement is for you not to think about what I'm telling you. So not to think. Under no circumstances should you think or imagine, picture what I'm telling you. So now pay attention. So not picture, yeah? I will tell. You have in front of you a large red parrot with a strong beak that makes a lot of noise. It's big and red with powerful feathers. I hope you're not thinking about what I've just explained. Right? You're not thinking of a red parrot. Funny, but true. What is the takeaway from this example? The takeaway from this example is the demonstration of how difficult it can be to follow instruction that specifically asks not to think about something. It highlights the tendency of the mind to focus on the forbidden thought despite efforts to suppress it. This can illustrate the concept that attempting to suppress thoughts or emotions may sometimes lead to them becoming more prominent or persistent. In this case, it is important to recognize that trying not to think about something can often be counterproductive, as demonstrated by the example. Instead, consider the following steps, and you can take this as recommendation in similar situations. One of them can be acknowledge the thought. Recognize that the thought or instruction not to think about something has entered your mind. Another one can be acceptance. Accept that it's natural for the mind to focus on forbidden thoughts or emotions, and that trying to suppress them may not be effective. Then shift focus. Redirect your attention to something else. Engage in an activity or task that requires your concentration, such as work, exercise, or a hobby. You can practice also mindfulness. Practice mindfulness techniques to observe your thought without getting caught up in them. This can help create distance from unwanted thoughts and reduce their impact. Also, self-compassion. Why not be kind to yourself and recognize that having unwanted thoughts or emotions is a normal part of human being. Treat yourself with compassion and understanding. By following these steps, you can navigate situations where you're instructed not to think about something more effectively, ultimately reducing the power of the unwanted thoughts or emotions. In the first part of my presentation, we went through the topic of emotions and thoughts as a reaction to change. But the most important and welcome emotions in these days in relation to change, as you also said, is stress and anxiety. So for the next minutes, we'll stay on them. How this affects our well-being. Stress and anxiety can have significant impacts on our physical, mental, and emotional health. When we experience stress, our body goes into a state of heightened alertness, triggering the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, as said earlier. While this response is meant to help us deal with immediate threats, prolonged exposure to stress can lead to a range of health problems, including high blood pressure, weak immune function, and digestive issues. Similarly, anxiety can manifest in various ways, including feelings of uneasy, worry, or fear about the future. Chronic anxiety can contribute to insomnia, muscle tension, and difficulty concentrating, impacting our ability to function effectively in our daily lives. Moreover, the current dynamic environments, characterized by constant change, can exacerbate feelings of stress and anxiety as we navigate uncertain circumstances and try to adapt to new challenges in our daily lives. The pace of change can leave us feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, and emotionally drained. So it is crucial to address stress and anxiety proactively and develop coping strategies to manage them effectively. Stress and anxiety can affect various aspects of our lives. For example, for students, and we have students here, these emotions can manifest in feeling overwhelmed by the multitude of homework and project requirements. The pressure to excel academically, combined with extracurricular activities and social pressure, can lead to increased stress levels. It's essential for students to learn healthy ways to cope with this pressure and to seek support from teachers, counselors, or mental health professionals when needed. Similarly, we have teachers. Teachers can also experience significant stresses and anxiety due to the daily challenges they face. Issues with student behaviors, the constant changes in academic requirements, and the pressure of meeting educational standards can all contribute to feelings of overwhelm and burnout. Teachers must prioritize self-care and seek support from colleagues or administrators to effectively manage stress and maintain their well-being. Stress and anxiety can also affect people working in business organizations, the employees. In the fast-paced and competitive environment of the corporate world, employees often face high demands, tight deadlines, and of course pressure to perform. This can lead to high levels of stress and anxiety. Employees may experience stress from various sources, including heavy workloads, interpersonal conflicts, and uncertainty about job security or career advancement. Additionally, changes within the organization, such as restructuring, mergers, or changes in leadership, can contribute to feelings of anxiety and instability among employees. Furthermore, the blurring of boundaries between work and personal lives, especially with the rise of remote work and technology, can exacerbate feelings of stress and overwhelm. Employees may struggle to disconnect from work, leading to increased levels of burnout and fatigue. To address stress and anxiety in the workplace, organizations must prioritize employees' well-being and implement strategies to support mental health. This may include providing access to resources such as counseling services, offering flexible work arrangements, promoting work-life balance, and fostering a supportive and inclusive work culture. By acknowledging and addressing the impact of stress and anxiety on employees, organizations can create healthier and more productive work environments where employees feel valued, supported, and they're able to thrive. In my third part of my speech here, I will stay a bit on this wellness area. The last days I read research about the trends defining the $1.8 trillion global wellness market in 2024. I would like to share some findings with you here. And if you are interested to find out more, of course, I can share with you the link to the article because it's a public information. This brought me to my attention because it is linked with the people, our behavior as a consequences of the stress factors. We discussed earlier about emotions, then we discussed about our thoughts, and now let's see our behaviors, this time in a statistics study. This article that I was telling you about combines these findings with an analysis of 7 wellness subsets. McKinsey's latest Future of Wellness research, this is called, which surveyed more than 5,000 consumers across China, United Kingdom, and the United States, examined the trends shaping the consumer's wellness landscape. Future of Wellness surveys finds the consumers are taking greater control over their health and expect companies to provide effective science-backed solutions. In the United States, they estimate that the wellness market has reached $480 billion, growing at 5 to 10% per year. 82% of United States consumers now consider wellness a top or important priority in their everyday lives, which is similar to what consumers in the United Kingdom or China reported as well, 73% and 87% respectively. This is especially true among Generation Z, and millennials consumers who are now purchasing more wellness products and services than older generations. What I found interesting and I want to share with you is the 7 areas of growth in the wellness space, because lately we are talking at least more and more about well-being, wellness, and what we all can do in order to increase this wellness state of mind and spirit, and also wellness space. Several pockets of growth in the wellness space are emerging. Increasing consumer interest, technological breakthroughs, product innovation, and an increase in chronic illnesses have catalyzed growth in these areas. And here are some conclusions for you to take away. One is women's health. Historically, women's health have been underserved and underfunded. Today, purchases of women's health products are on the rise across a range of care needs. While the highest percentage of respondents said that they purchased menstrual care and sexual health products, consumers said they spent the most on menopause and pregnancy-related products in the past year. Conclusion? Well, women spend more on menopause and pregnancy-related products than on other health products. Amazing, right? Another conclusion is on healthy aging. Demands for products and services that support healthy aging and longevity is on the rise, properly by a shift toward preventive medicine, the growth of health technology, such as telemedicine and digital health monitoring, and advances in research on anti-aging products. Roughly, 70% of consumers in the United Kingdom and the United States are 85% in China, indicated that they have purchased more in this category in the past year than in prior years. Also, more than 60% of consumers surveyed consider it very or extremely important to purchase products or services that help with healthy aging and longevity. These results were similar across age groups, suggesting that the push toward healthy aging is spurred both by younger generations seeking preventive solutions and older generations seeking to improve their longevity. As population across developed economies continue to age, 1 in 6 people in the world will be aged 60 or older by 2033. We expect there to be an even greater focus globally on healthy aging. The third conclusion is on weight management. Well, weight management is top of mind for consumers in the United States, where nearly 1 in 3 adults struggles with obesity. 60% of US consumers in this survey said they are currently trying to lose weight. While exercise is by far the most reported weight management intervention in this survey, more than 50% of US consumers considers prescription medication to be a very effective intervention. Well, prescription medication is perceived differently elsewhere. Less than 30% of UK and China consumers consider weight loss drugs to be very effective. So let's see. The fourth one, conclusion, in-person fitness. Fitness has shifted from a casual interest to a priority for many consumers. Around 50% of US gym goers said that fitness is core part of their identity. This trend is even stronger among younger consumers. 56% of US Generation Z consumers surveyed considers fitness a very high priority, compared with 40% of overall US consumers. The fifth one is a very interesting one, I like very much, is the gut health. More than 80% of consumers in China, the United Kingdom, and the United States consider gut health to be important, and over 50% anticipate making it a higher priority in the next 2 to 3 years. 1/3 of US consumers, 1/3 of UK consumers, and half of Chinese consumers said they wish there were more products in the market to support their gut health. While probiotic supplements are the most frequently used gut health products in China and the United States, UK consumers opt for probiotic rich foods as well as over the counter medications. The sixth conclusion is on sexual health. The expanded cultural conversation about sexuality, improvements in sexual education, and growing support for female sexual health challenges have all contributed to the growth in demand for sexual health products. 87% of US consumers reporting having spent the same or more on sexual health products in the past year than in the prior. And they said that they purchased personal objects more frequently. While more businesses began to sell sexual health products online during the height of the COVID pandemic, a range of retailers from traditional pharmaceutical to beauty retailers to department stores are now adding more sexual health brands and items to their store shelves. This creates marketing and distribution opportunities for disruptor brands to reach new audiences and increase scale. And the last one that has a lot to do with our today topic, and for sure it is very familiar to you as well, it is sleep. Despite consistently ranking as the second highest health and wellness priority for consumers, sleep is also the area where consumers said they have the most unmet needs. 37% of US consumers expressed a desire for additional sleep and mindfulness products and services, such as those that address cognitive functioning, stress, and anxiety management. In the years since, little has changed. One of the major challenges in improving sleep is the sheer number of factors that can affect a good night's sleep, including diet, exercises, caffeine, screen time, stress, and other lifestyle factors. As a result, few, if any, tech players and emerging brands in the sleep space have been able to create a compelling ecosystem to improve consumer sleep holistically. Well, I could start again a new workshop and discussion about sleep, but I'm trying to refrain since we are approaching at the end of our meeting. I have only 30 minutes, so I hope it was a half an hour useful for you with some personal takeaways and some insights on how and where to go in case any mental health turbulences caused by day-to-day changes and challenges. Thank you very much again. I hope this conference will go further with a lot of interesting information from the other keynote speakers. And if you have any questions or would you like to address separately some discussions or some questions, I will be here for answers for sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Irina ma'am. It was the best speech on the topic adopting minds, the physio-emotional impact of change in dynamic and environment. With examples, statistical data, experiences, with your skills you have presented here very nicely. I request all participants to unmute and you can discuss for a few minutes with our resource person. Thank you. सर एकच मिनिट थोडंसं आपण
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Irina ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Good evening to all. Thank you, Principal Dr. M.M. Betkar sir, and organizing all committee members. Today's resource person, Irina ma'am, explained very nice, wonderful and interesting session, knowledgeable session. Very useful information is given today. Thank you so much, Irina ma'am and Principal Dr. M.M. Betkar sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Sukriti ma'am, if you want to discuss, you can discuss. Sukriti ma'am.
Very good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Basically, I just hi. Very good evening. Basically, the session was good enough. I just wanted to know that what are the psychosocial, whether the psychosocial impact is related with the financial status also, as we are looking around. This is also impacting our psychosocial status. So, how you can consider the financial status is related with this impact?
Yes, it is a very good question, and thank you for asking this. Indeed, the financial area is a big part of our well-being. Yes, because we know that is impacting our lives day to day, and in many cases, I have clients coming to my office saying that they are feeling overwhelmed because they cannot find more ways to have money, to have more money, and to survive in this day-to-day business, in their today lives. Sorry. Um, I would start from, if you ask me, from having a financial education with kids since the beginning, since they are younger, in order to have a healthy relationship with the money and to find the sense in this life for having an activity and hobby, and in the same times gaining money from their activities. So when we start thinking only to have money and not to have any um, how to say any joy in doing things, we'll start having big costs like our health, our time, having no sense in our activities, in our lives, and the only scope of our lives being having money. This will bring us at the end declaring that we are not happy enough and the money don't bring happiness, as it is a well-known word. So I will start with the very beginning with the kids, teaching them to have a healthy relationship with the money. In the same time, I will go considering that the life is more than having money. It's also having a sense of life, having activities, hobbies, families, social, and everything all together. It's a system that it is integrated in our psycho-emotional system.
Thank you very much. Could you tell us
You're
few?
welcome.
Yeah, could you tell us few? Basically, you can say techniques about the satisfaction, as they will be satisfied. So I think the social dynamic can be stable in itself. So how could we teach our students to be more satisfied in any manner so that they can live a healthy lifestyle?
Mm-hmm. So again, I will start this one. This question also very good because I can see also a trend from our clients as well. I have a kid as well that they are not satisfied anymore in school. So having satisfaction means to do what you like. So starting understanding your needs, starting understanding your body, being connected with yourself is the first step, and also a very difficult exercise because it is not easy to stay connected with you. I don't know if you were in the first part of my presentation where I said go and stay a bit connected with yourself and try to identify an emotion. I am sure that a lot of you have struggled with it. And this is because we are not used to stay connected with us and see what we like indeed to do. So in this case, the recommendation is like this: go and ask your students to be authentic, to know themselves, to identify those things, activities they like, and go in that direction. If they are doing things in school, in their daily life that are not in line with their needs, with their personal interest, and so on, at the end of the day, they won't be happy. Okay.
One last question.
Yes. Yes,
Whether the
please.
spiritualism and the techniques of the spiritualism from the younger stage can fulfill this dynamics?
Of spiritualism.
असं व्हायला लागलं तर ते आपला मुख्य उद्देश बाजूला राहतो.
Can you please repeat a bit?
Sir, please.
Yes.
अच्छा.
The technique of the spiritualism from a very younger age can fulfill this dynamics.
Depends on the beliefs. Depends on the beliefs and values of each person. So yes, can be, or no, cannot be. Depends on what you believe in.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hello, Dr.
Hello.
Victor sir, Principal sir, good evening and good
Hello.
afternoon, ma'am. Wonderful session, what I have heard. Joined late, but yes, definitely a very important session. What I feel, when we are talking about the word emotional is something subjective rather than objective, which we cannot observe. So, if suppose I want to do some kind of study on psycho-emotional plane, so what are the scales we can go with?
आता परवा मी गेलो कॉलेजला 11:15 वाजता आपल्या कल्याण मॅडम होत होत्या. मॅडम आपल्याला लवकर
Can you hear me?
जबाबदारीने राहावं लागतं एवढंच म्हणतो.
Yeah.
दुसरे ते चांगल्या
Yeah.
वेळेला दिसतात.
Yes, because
Am I audible?
because you all are freeze. That's why.
म्हणजे कुणी आपल्या आपल्या पद्धतीने चांगलं वागलं ना काही
So I'm
करायचं
moving.
अडचणी
Can you
असतात,
see me moving?
प्रश्न असतात
No.
आपण सगळे सगळ्याच बाबतीत पुढे जातो.
Yeah, it's freeze, but I'm not sure if it's from my
Bitker sir,
or from your.
am I audible? Bitker sir?
Yes sir, you are audible, you can discuss please.
Yeah. Ma'am, my question is, if we are doing a psycho-emotional study, because it is very subjective feeling, so is there any scale present or, by which we can measure the exact emotions of the people?
नंतर कशा बाबतीनं कुठेही सापडतोच ना कसं आहे खरं असं
Hello?
नोटला माहूरला असताना एका प्राचार्याला भरलं त्या संस्थेने.
I think Madam you have not heard. I think Shukla sir.
अध्यक्षांना
I think the screen is not there, sir.
माझं नाव
And hello, ma'am. Am I audible to you?
म्हणजे
You are audible, sir. But
Sir.
Madam, I don't.
Yes, sir. Yes.
यायचं असेल तर
Yes, sir. Audible.
आणि
But the ma'am is not there, I think, on the line.
घ्यायचं त्याने
Irina ma'am.
I think she have left or maybe out of network. She will join. Try to wait her, please. खूप अधिकार आहेत परंतु काय होतं माहिती आहे का आपण एक अधिकार वापरा गेलो की आपल्या मागे दुसरं शुक्ल काश लागतं नको ते जेणेकरून आपण त्याच्यामध्ये असे गुरफटून जातो की मग कारण राहून जातं म्हणून त्या गोष्टी टाळलेल्या चांगल्या नाहीतर भरपूर काही ज्याला भांडणच करत बसायचं त्याला खूप संधी आहे तर पूर्वी कॉलेजला पाहिलंय वातावरण त्या राजीच्या काळामध्ये सगळ्या काळामध्ये सगळ्या स्टोरी इथल्या माहिती आहेत रोज प्राध्यापक ग्रुपमध्ये बसणे संप करणे अध्यक्षाला वेटीस देणे संस्थेला वेटीस देणे प्राचार्य हेच चाललं त्यांचं टोटल इतके वर्ष म्हणजे अकॅडमिक काहीच नव्हतं मागचा इतिहास पाहिला तर सगळं ते पाठक झाले ते बंडेवार झाले ही सगळी मंडळी जी होती राजे त्या सगळ्यांना एकच उद्देश एकत्र प्राध्यापक बसणे कुठल्या तरी संस्थेच्या माणसाला प्राचार्याला अडचणीत आणणे हेच करणे हेच केले त्यांनी काहीच केलं नाही दुसरं आणि तेच आहे होत विचार त्यामुळे त्या गोष्टी सगळ्या झाल्या आता त्याच पायंडा पुढे पाडून आपल्याला काय मिळणार आहे आपल्याला जेवढं